So my name is Linda Jenken. I'm a professor in fashion marketing and management at Fanshawe College. And I originally became a volunteer with the Children's Health Foundation, actually through my job, through a colleague who created her own segment, or I guess component of the foundation called ITSY. And that's kind of where it all began with me. And that was over, I would say that was close with the pandemic, everything kind of melds in together. But I think it was about 12 to 13 years ago. So this event in particular, it has evolved. Of course, the dates have changed multiple times because of being able to be in person, which this event is so important to be in person versus virtual. And the committee has actually changed as well. So I've had, I guess, the luxury of meeting new people along the way. I was one of the latter ones to join, but I seem to be more of a senior one at the moment with the evolving of volunteers. But we recently were able to meet in person, which was wonderful. So I could see the women in person. And what I've learned is the connections with everyone. So everyone, seems to be able to have some sort of a connection to help you in the area that you are responsible for. In my case, I'm responsible for the fashion show, but yet I've been able to help the coordinator for the marketplace and the coordinator for the swag bags. And so we all seem to come together. The connections that we have within the community obviously is going to benefit our event, as well as how everyone is so thankful and grateful for the work that you do. So not only Michelle, who kind of heads us up as our leader, as well as all of the coordinators and co-coordinators. Everyone is so grateful for the work that you do, but they're also very mindful of your time. So they're mindful that you have a job. They're mindful that you may have a young family or other hobbies or extra interests. And so there's always there to someone's always there to help you and assist you along the way, which really makes volunteering really enjoyable so that you don't get overworked, because in our committee in particular, we have lots of hands to help. My previous would be, I would say, connected to more of an external event that I've created through my job at Fanshawe and my classes. So as I mentioned earlier in my introduction, we started with a wearable art fashion show that we held downtown. And so the students were involved in designing the wearable art, and my second year students were the producers. And so we've always had a charity connected to our event. I feel it's very important that students have that sense of giving back to the community. And many of our students are not from London. So it also kind of gives them an idea of what we have within London, but also recognizing that the Foundation and Children's Hospital reaches far beyond London, which I think a lot of people don't necessarily know. So in that case, we decided that we would choose the Children's Health Foundation, and in particular, it was called ITSY, which was supporting families who had children in intensive care in the neonatal. And so it's kind of branched from that. When ITSY kind of melded into the foundation, it then melded into our dollars that we contributed as far as a donation, then were dispersed where needed. So this particular event not only has involved me, but all my students. And we've also been very fortunate to be able to visit the hospital. So we had therapists from the art program speak to us, and we were able to visit different areas that we were allowed to, so that the students really realized the importance of where the monies go to help these children. We've had a lot of guest speakers from the foundation come in, and it really kind of touched their hearts, I think, seeing, especially when we were focusing on these little tiny preemies. They really couldn't, believe it. And then some of the children or some of the students were actually, preemies themselves, and also had to have medical, interventions as what we're raising our money for. But we were also part of the radiothon a couple of years as well, where our students were able to go in and to volunteer. And actually, my daughter was also a part of it. So that's kind of where it all began. And then when the Wearable Art Fashion Show couldn't take place at the beginning of the pandemic, then when I was dropping off our last donation from the previous event, I was asked to be a part of the Wine, Women, and Shoes, and it was a perfect fit. And so this is now what I'm focusing on, and I hope to do more in the future. I haven't in recent, just because of kind of really busy with work. If anything, it's probably been connected more to Fanshawe. So we have done, we've done a lot of events within my program where we have as faculty and incorporated into our curriculum. So we have had other charities, of course, that we have worked with in a similar format, but it was more of kind of an external donation opposed to assisting within some of the other charities. But, wherever I've often thought, the older I get, it's important to think, when I'm not working anymore, where I can put, some of either my expertise, and I teach event planning and promotion, and so I should be able to assist in many ways. And so, and also having more time, you're able to do more. And so it's I think a lot of people wait until they've retired and then they're not sure what they should do. And so if you kind of establish a foundation, then it's just a natural process just to move into that kind of full-time volunteer role, similarly to what you've been doing with your career. I think the fondest memory is we have often invited the children that were in the NICU to be our models. And so they were dressed in our wearable art garments, and they went up and down the runway, and you never know what can happen when you have children in a fashion show. So we had a lot of, laughs, but at the same time, they stole the show. And we often would have parents of the children then speak at the event. And that was really heartwarming, I think. And so I would say that my memories are seeing the children that are, now 3, 4, 6. I think we had, children as old as 10 or 12 that spent many months at the Children's Hospital, and how well they're doing today. So I think that would be my most fondest memory. I would say yes, I'm definitely with empathy, simply because I've made it my mission to become more involved, so that I know where, some of these donations are going. And it's kind of like seeing on the other side of the glass, right? So if my middle child did spend some time in the NICU, but for not reasons such as some of the preemies that we had been speaking about before. So the empathy is not only, obviously for the children and the family, but I think it also established empathy for all of the staff at the hospital. I was amazed as I was there as a mother, as, some volunteers were cutting up, preemie diapers in half again. So the smallest diaper cut in half again for another baby. And how much, help that I got as a mother, and then seeing it as a volunteer, what everyone does within the hospital, and then how the foundation works with the hospital. And I think the foundation also does an excellent job in really kind of explaining what the events are, where the proceeds are going, what it's all about. And so through short videos or visuals, you're drawn in, and you can't help but being empathetic. When you hear some of those testimonials of those children and those parents, you just, and when those videos were shown in my class to my students, they were asked, where should the money be focused? So where do you want the money directed to? And so they spoke about all the different areas where the foundation supports. And they couldn't pick one in particular because they were all so important. And so each year my students say the money should go to where it could be used best, or where it's needed most. And I think that's empathy right there, when they all know that everything is so valuable that's being offered. I think that we're taught, I guess, that's kind of human nature to look out for others and to take care of others, and not always to put yourself first. And I think that's one reason. Not only you're helping others, but it really does a lot of good for you as well. So it's a win-win situation no matter what. The other thing for consideration is that often we'll say, we don't have time. I can't add one more thing to my list. And there are those, Oprahs out there that don't say no and do everything, and they're stretched and they become kind of jaded with too much. But just by, choosing even one event, to take on, or helping in just in another small way, even if you don't necessarily want kind of a coordinator spot, but you would assist, or you would help on a certain capacity. It all helps, whether it's a small contribution or you're giving a lot of your time. Every little bit helps, and it will make you feel like you are giving back. But it also broadens your whole friendship circle. Friends that we've been so isolated for the last 2 years. If anything, coming out to be able to volunteer and finally meet in person. And I do find that sometimes when you go to events, you're very touched, and then that's often when you want to volunteer. And I'm hoping that maybe, our event will be similar to that too, seeing all of us being a part of it, and hopefully just, increasing those that may be interested in volunteering in any small way.